You are checking out an all new the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. We are dropping Monday night of January the 13th, 2020. What is going on? Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. How about those NFL games over the weekend? My God, if you would have told me over the weekend that the Ravens were not going to advance further, I tell you, that was probably, of all the games that went down over the weekend, for me, that was the one that was most shocking. Now, to Lamar's credit, Lamar did pretty good, but they really, in retrospect, should have done the run game more. But it was a good game that went down at the M&T Bank Stadium, without a shadow of doubt. But I don't know, man. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, probably if not as early as 3 weeks ago, for sure 2 weeks ago, I had said, hey, Ravens, 49ers, book it. But now the way things are kind of looking, it's almost safe to assume it's probably going to be the 49ers and maybe Green Bay. It could go down like that. I don't know. Crazier things have happened in the NFL, but we'll wait and see what's going on. So, yeah, look, as we always do with the Monday night shows, we do talk about Raw. We also sprinkle in a little bit of headlines that's gone down since last we were on the air and everything. And, you know, we're going to kind of throw the usual format out, because usually I like to go in there and talk about Raw. I think we all could be in agreement that as far as Raw goes tonight, Raw was a little bit average, so to speak. You had a couple of bright spots in there, though, right? It wasn't a bad episode. It didn't bomb, not by any stretch, but it was one of those nights where you were just kind of going through the motions, but it definitely had its moments, right? So we'll talk more about Raw in just a hot second, but I really think we should just go right in for the jugular there and talk about the crazy shit that had went down over the weekend. Of course, Tessa Blanchard. I mean, my God. If you would have told me before the weekend is out that Tessa Blanchard was going to be trending, I would say to you, oh yeah, because there's that Hard to Kill pay-per-view event that's going to be going down. And that's something that we went over the card. Remember, guys? We went over the card for at least the past 2 weeks now, right? I gave you guys the most updated card as possible. And if you would have told me before Sunday night Tessa Blanchard's going to be trending, I would have said, yeah, go figure. Yeah, she's going to be trending, and rightfully so. She's probably going to become the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion, right? First female Impact World Heavyweight Champion. Hey, congrats to her. Couldn't happen to a cooler person, somebody I've respect for a good number of years now. Yeah, all right, cool. Let's go there. But no, instead, if you would have told me, yeah, she's going to be trending, but not because of winning the Impact World title. She's going to be trending because of some foul, fucked up shit, because her past has caught up to her in the most negative way possible. I would say to you, well, what the hell? Tell me more. I need to know what the hell went down. So, look, I want to do this in a way where it's not an he said and she said, because I've seen so many people that has talked about this, and all they've done is just essentially read screenshots, and they've offered no in-depth takeaway out of everything that's gone down, right? That's the last thing I want to do, right? But I do want to paraphrase some of the stuff that had went down, right? Okay, so you got to really rewind this back. And, you know, if you're kind of like me, you're usually on the weekends, if you have the weekends off, if you're not working, you're spending that quality time with the family, catching up on some yard work, maybe some work around the house or whatever, right? Using the weekend to run your errands. So you're probably not really checking your social media like that. I know, to each his own. For me personally, when it comes to social media, I kind of pump the brakes just a little bit, and I use the weekends more to catch up on stuff around the house. And, you know, Saturday morning, everything's going as usual, no problem. Then by about Saturday afternoon, for me at least, I would say around the 4 o'clock hour, is when I started to see some stuff go down about Tessa. And everything just essentially begins with one freaking tweet that she puts out there. Just one tweet. And that one tweet was just this goddamn spiral, what the fuck of a Pandora's box. I mean, it was a gate that was opened, and once it was open, there was no closing it because you are now doomed, right? It was one of those type of deals. So she puts out a simple tweet, and when you see the tweet, you're going, wait a minute, I don't understand. All that from just that one tweet she put out, what the hell could she say that is so negative that everybody from everywhere, from all promotions, is coming at her? All she put out there was 9 simple words. Hey, women, try supporting one another. Cool things can happen. And from there, it was a ultra combo massacred from left and right. I mean, take your pick. You had people, predominantly women, from AEW, WWE, NXT, MLW, NWA. I mean, take your pick. Everybody was just coming after this woman. And really the one to really get the ball rolling was one former Impact Wrestling star, Sienna, now known as Allison Kay. She's the one that got it all clicking and popping, recounting, oh, so I guess we don't remember what went down in New Japan when you had used a racial slur, you were belittling, you were badgering, and you were putting down La Rosa Negra. But Pepperidge Farm remembers. Okay, cool, right? So you're going, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And you know, if you're seeing this during the 4 o'clock hour, for me, that's how it all really began. It was like the 4 o'clock hour, you see one person jump out there, and you don't really think nothing much of it. For me, it was really a weird metamorphosis that I went through from the 4 o'clock hour all the way up until, I would say, about 8, 9 o'clock at night. Because when you first see what Allison Kay puts out there, for me, at least, I'm going with the song from Jim Blossom's Hey Jealousy, Hey Jealousy. I'm initially going there. And then as the time progresses, more people are stepping up to the plate and, you know, they are being more vocal. So on top of Allison Kay saying what she's saying, you also had Rebel. I loved me some Rebel. I thought Rebel was one of the cutest ass acquisitions that Impact Wrestling picked up. I looked at her and I just said, man, other than Brooke Tessmacher, this girl right here, they do her right, man. This could be their equivalent to a Stacy Keibler. I was that high on Rebel. Go, if you've never seen, because I know some of you guys, it's been a couple of years since you looked at Impact Wrestling, but if you pull up the images of Rebel, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with her. You know, Rebel jumps out there. Rebel shares her own personal experience of basically being disrespected. And see, it's one thing if, it's a hazing, it's some type of a initiation, some type of breaking you in process, or some shit like that, trying to make you pay your dues, because, we hear this type of stuff all the time about ribs being done on people. It's kind of like part of the initiation, and if you have had the opportunity, or you're about to have the opportunity to go to college, you know that with some fraternities, some of them, they have this whole initiation process, right? Right down to the point, maybe if you're going into law enforcement, or you're going to be a fireman or whatever, maybe with the Army, sometimes the people that you're partnered up with, buddy chum with or whatever, there's some type of a initiation process that they break you in, right? You're trying to see if you can pass the test. No, this was nothing like that at all. This was a case of, hey, I got my own personal experience. This was almost the equivalent. What went down on Saturday to Sunday was almost the equivalent of surviving R. Kelly. It was, I mean, that sounds funny, but when you really stop and think about it, that's exactly what the fuck had went down. And by the way, I don't know if you guys were aware, but they actually did the sequel to Surviving R. Kelly. They had aired a new 5-part miniseries. It had premiered on Lifetime about a week and a half ago. So that was pretty interesting to watch. Me and Tammy will talk a lot more about that on a future episode of Wrestling with the Topics for you Patreon cats. But yeah, just everybody just coming out there sharing their own personal stories. I sadly do not have the name of the person. I would have to do some extensive research and really check my history. But one new element that was thrown into the mix, and I wish I knew his name. If anybody wants to maybe find the link real quick and mention the guy's name in the chat, you guys are more than welcome to do so. But you even had a color commentator that shared his own bad experience with Tessa Blanchard. And basically, and this is good because I only read this article once and I'm going from memory here, so this is pretty good. So you had this one color commentator, as when anybody comes through his promotion, right? He's always there at the same promotion, but usually he and his co-host, his comrade, his brother in arms, they get to have different stars from all types of feds come in, help them out for an event or whatever. So for this one particular event, Tessa Blanchard was on the card. And so, like he does with all the other talents that come through there, he goes up to Tessa Blanchard, introduces himself, and then says, hey, so look, with regards to this match that you got, is there anything in particular you need for me to know? Anything you want me to get across on commentating? And Tessa Blanchard sharply snaps right back at him, don't you know who I am? At which the color commentator says, oh yeah, of course, I know who you are, of course, but I was just wondering if there was some type of a personal story. I'm well of your origins and everything, but is there some type of a story you want me to tell during your match, against your opponent? And she goes, oh, what, like an interview? Or is this an interview? Oh, I hate interviews. And so he goes, okay, well, you know what? Very polite. He said, well, that's okay. I'll just go ahead and I'll talk to your opponent. I'll get a little bit of a backstory from her and I'll try to do what I can on commentating. At which Tessa snaps right back, why? She's going to lose to me. And his experience with Tessa was just totally bad, right? And then I also want to give this guy a shout out, Casey Michael, who's the owner of, I think it's Square Sirens. I'm actually looking at his bio right now. So if you guys can bear with me a quick second, I can actually tell you here. SquareCircleSirens.com. He brought to light, hey, don't forget about, what had went down there with, I'm trying to think who it was. Renee Michelle, who is the wife of Drake Maverick. He brought that to light and was like, hey, don't forget about the Renee Michelle situation. Renee Michelle soon has stepped out and she has shared her experience in dealing with Tessa Blanchard and everything. So you have all of these people that spoke out about their personal experiences with Tessa Blanchard. When the focal point of all of this, and those were just some names that I had mentioned, Chelsea Green jumped in. I mean, it was like a freaking who's who of people. Big Swole from AEW. It's just a who's who of people that just, if you want something fun to read on a lunch break and you did not get a chance to read any of that yet, just go out of your way, check all of it out, right? But the person that is at the focal point of all of this is one La Negra Rosa, right? She is at the focal of all this. And so it's okay, so what's going on with her? So she puts out a simple tweet saying, yeah, Tessa, in fact, yeah, from what everybody else had said, yes, that incident in New Japan back in 2017, it did happen, right? She was short, very concise, to the point, right? And that was it. So you're thinking, okay, wow, well, she doubled down and she jumped out there. Okay, cool. Now, all of those people that I had mentioned, they don't have anything to gain out of speaking out about Tessa Blanchard? They have nothing to gain, right? As far as what would they possibly have to lose? Well, if you're in the media position, right? If you're in the media position, then as far as getting an interview with Tessa Blanchard and some stars from Impact Wrestling, you're essentially fucked and all that other shit. Now, I thought that as far as the statement that La Negra Rosa had put out, I thought she was essentially going to be one and done. But no, she jumps out there and she puts out a video statement. Now, for those of you that did not check out this video, I highly would encourage you guys to go out of your way. You owe it to yourselves. Check it out. Now, her English is very bad, and it's a 8-minute long video, but the last 90 seconds of the video is essentially in, okay, so when it first begins, it's in Spanish, but there's English subtitle. So every single thing that you are saying, and it was perfect English translation, the captioning that you're reading. So it's an 8-minute video. So basically 6 minutes and some change of that video is all English captioning. And then the last 2 minutes, she's just speaking in Spanish. And sadly, there is kind of sounds like she's from the little bit of Spanish that I am able to speak. It sounds like basically she's just wrapping things up and just thanking people and everything like that. But when you go out of your way and you research all of these people that have came forth and they spoke about their experiences with Tessa Blanchard, double downing on some of the things that, yeah, I remember that incident. Yeah, that wasn't the only incident that had occurred too with Tessa. Hey, remember she almost got into a scuffle, blah, 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 blah. Look up what La Negra Rosa had said, right? And I got to give a shout out to the YouTube channel because it's on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel, Contralona. You spell that Contra, Contra, like the video game we grew up on. Add Lona to it. Look them up. They're on YouTube. 8-minute video that she did, like Rosa Negra. 8-minute video that she did. And when you do your research on her and you do your research on everybody else, you're going, well, wait a minute. Never heard of any of these individuals involved in any type of controversy whatsoever. Never heard anything about them being bitter assholes or difficult to work with in any type of way. Even Ivelisse Velez, who was one of the first people a couple of years back that had shed a little bit of light on working with Tessa Blanchard. Even she had shed a little bit of light, again, a couple of years back, but somehow it went under the radar. But even she had, tried to say a little something about this. And even she, before the weekend was out, even she kind of was teasing, should I put my own personal experience out there? Now, some of you guys may be saying, well, Lee, all these people, and I don't blame you because I kind of bit that carrot for a second, but I said, nah, we need to wait, let more information come out. And I'm telling you, that Saturday time frame between 4 p.m. until about 9 p.m. Eastern, and then going into the next day, it was just, I won't say it was equivalent to when you first find out about Chris Benoit and his family are dead, but remember how you felt when, I dare not want to compare it to that, but just when you're first taking in the information, you're blowing it off. But then as the time progresses and you know a lot about wrestling, you follow a lot of people and you check out a lot of territories and you know enough to know that I can usually take this check and cash it if this person is saying what they're saying, because that's usually the gospel when they're speaking. Haven't heard of them in any type of a negative limelight, right? It was weird how the mood just changed, how the climate changed, especially on social media particularly. So some of you may have the question, well, man, isn't it convenient that this is going down a day before Tessa Blanchard has this championship match at Hard to Kill? Well, that's the whole point. The convenience, that's the whole point, because so much of a spotlight is put on this particular individual, right? And then for that individual to turn around and put the statement that they put out there, you're going, well, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, explain that. And then I've seen some people explain the whole, and some people want to go there. They bring up Hulk Hogan. Well, here's the major difference with Hulk Hogan, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Here's the difference with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan met with the entire WWE locker room after he had got hit with a 3-year ban from the WWE. Let's keep that full disclosure, and I'm not taking a side here. But Hulk Hogan, when the shit went down with the N-bomb and all that, WWE, brother, Hulkster, we love you, but you got to prove to us that you are in a much better place, because the past few times we've tried to deal with you, there's been some controversy, and this shit right here, brother, nah, man, this ain't gonna fly. So they severed ties with him for 3 years, right? And he's been in this whole rebuilding process, finding God, got a new love of life, new love interests and all that other stuff. And you know what? Hey, more power to him. More power to him. It seems like he's on a different path. My biggest complaint with regards to the Hulkster, I wish he was pushing the envelope more about practicing what he's preaching. I really wish he was stepping out there more. And I know he got hit with that award a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the Boys and Girls Club Award, right, for all the great work he's doing. You know, I wish he could expand upon that more and go to low-income neighborhoods, speak at schools, you know, speak to teams, try to do his part in having there be good after-school programs, raise awareness for after-school programs, you know, libraries, you know, things of that nature, right? I wish he was doing more like that to really pay it forward. But I do see some type of effort being made. But after the 3 years of, hey, we don't want anything else to do with you, when wounds were starting to get patched up, WWE's upper management, Vince McMahon and crew, hey, before we go any further, you got to talk with the entire locker room, and you got to let them know what's going on with you, right? Now, some people of color, they appreciated what he had to say. Other people of color, hey, nah, man, we still ain't cool. And that's their right to feel that way, right? But that's the big difference between what went down with the Hulkster and with Tessa Blanchard, but also from this standpoint that a lot of people seem to be missing the button on here, which is this. Tessa Blanchard takes to social media and she denies, without letting it be blunt, you knew exactly what she was talking about, right? Yeah, Chelsea Green talked about how she was degraded and all this other shit. Tessa Blanchard basically counters right back and says, no, I never acted, you know, that way towards you, yada, 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 yada. Basically, yeah, you're just hating, you know, you're just trying to stir the pot. That's basically was Tessa's message to Chelsea. But then she follows it up with one statement. Now, if she said anything since, I don't know anything about it because I've been prepping for the show. So you guys are more than welcome to let me know. But, you know, the one statement that she does put out, it's basically, you know, not true. The fact that I even have to acknowledge this, you know, basically I'm paraphrasing, it, you know, it's preposterous, whatever, right? Okay, so you're saying it's not true. Okay, fine, right? And then we go into the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. She wins the championship. And then post-match, after she wins the title, this 47-second clip of audio here, this happens. Listen to this.
And tonight we did it. Nobody in this life is perfect. We're all human. And it doesn't matter what you say about me. It doesn't matter what you call me. I've got one of the strongest minds that I've ever known. So whenever you come for me, you come for all these people. And I am now the standard bearer of Impact Wrestling.
Okay, so she puts that statement out there, all right? So, you look at that, and part of you goes, okay, so we got a little bit of the Tessa character in there, but we also got the woman speaking behind that gimmick, being real there, right? So a very cryptic message. So on the one hand, it kind of sounded as if she's accepting some type of self-accountability, right? For whatever past transgressions and all that, right? And yet she's trying to a little bit stay in character at the same. Okay, so which one is it? Because you just put out a statement on social media shooting all of this down, talking about how preposterous this is and how it's essentially a load of bullshit, to the point it's not even worth your time to address because it's not true. And yet you put that type of a cryptic post-victory mini speech out there, right? Okay, so which one is it? Is my question, right? So this whole thing about people can change. I've been on this show how many times over the years? Even when it came to the Hulkster, I had people, my feet were at the fire many times over the years. I have tried to do my very best in looking at things from an overall 360 perspective. But some people feel very butthurt by some of the things that I say. Some want to politicize some of these things that go down. And it's very funny. I always find it funny. You have people, when it comes to race relations, particularly race relations, that's the only thing. Negative race relations at that. They will just jump out there and it's all about feeding their base on this is how they perceiving us African Americans, and like Nelson Mandela and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X, we must surprise, we must overcome, and we must fight back the white man and his poisons, and they do all this shit. And yet when people of color, not necessarily blacks, but just ethnics in general, are doing something good, these same individuals that are putting all this propaganda out there trying to feed that particular base, they're not saying, oh, hey, look at what Serena and Venus Williams had did for this community over here because, XYZ, or, oh man, what a great gesture that Titus O'Neil had did as he took 50, unfortunate children and families from low housing income areas and took them all on an extravagant Christmas shop. These people are not around for any of that shit, right? Whatever. It is what it is. But, for me, when I talk about stuff like this, it's not about picking a side. It is about covering all the angles, and how you guys walk away from it is at your own discretion. But if you're going to hold my feet to the fire for this particular subject and you're going to ask me where I stand, I'll get to that in a hot second. So let's do this. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling for a second. Anybody that's following me on social media, very consistent, right? Now look, you're talking to somebody that up until now, I was a true diehard Tessa Blanchard fan. A big fan. When other people were jumping out there saying, I don't see what it is with her, she's nothing but overhyped, I don't particularly care for her, whatever. I'm going, nah, man. This girl is really something. She is special. Let me tell you, whoever she gets in the ring with, I'm telling you, she's got that golden touch, man. She is on all cylinders. Fire. Check her out. You won't be disappointed. I can't tell you, since we were doing our coverage of WOW, Women of Wrestling, how many people came more and more around to, wow, that Tessa Blanchard girl, yeah, she's actually pretty damn good. And just the domino effect of, okay, because she's incorporated in this promotion, she's been working with these people, it's just had nothing but an overall domino effect, right? For some years now, my God, it feels like 4, possibly 5 years, I've been singing the praises of Tessa Blanchard. I know for sure 3 years I've been singing her praises. I know that much, but feels like it's at least 4 years I've been singing her praises, right? Big fan, big advocate of hers, right down to the point. Our new show logo, you look closely, you could kind of go, is that Tessa Blanchard in the background with the... That is Tessa Blanchard, right? I said, man, we got to change the show logo because shit. Hell no. For me, I take great pride whenever I have the thought about, okay, new show logo and all this other shit. Okay, well, what do I want to be? What do I want to have be incorporated in my show logo? What do I want to have incorporated be in my banners and everything, but in such a way where I don't have to worry about motherfuckers trying to hit me with a lawsuit or, hey, I want some royalties if you're going to be making shirts off of that or all that, all that other stupid little shit, right? So, when I make my banners, my graphics, or I'm collaborating with somebody, I try to do it in a way where I'm incorporating, what's the DNA of my personality when it comes to this genre, right? Sports or whatever. And for me, the fact that I think of some of the people that I think of, and I have them in such high regard that, hey man, it'd be a great honor, it'd really be fucking kick ass if I could have somehow them be incorporated with my logo and everything. And I gotta tell you that for me, by the weekend's end, I couldn't help but go, man, I lost so much respect for Tessa Blanchard. If you're following me on social media, I put a statement out there and I said, I've been supporting Impact Wrestling since they came to fruition. I am one of the few, the proud, the only, the select few that was buying the TNA shows when they were, what was it, like $7, $8, $9, $10 a month on pay-per-view. They were doing the episodes that way. I've been with TNA/Impact Wrestling that long. But how they handled the whole situation going into Hard to Kill, that for me, just with a bunch of other shit on top of it, made me say, no more, I'm out, right? For me, the Tessa Blanchard situation was the final straw. If I were to count the ways for you guys, where do I even begin? They give AJ Styles that very laughable contract, right? Anybody that's seen his shoot interview knows exactly what's up. But if you don't know, go look up his shoot interview. They gave him a very laughable contract offer, way less than what he was making previously, right? With the arrangements he made with Impact. And that essentially pushed him out the door, set him up in New Japan, and the rest is history, right? You see what he's been doing now since he's been in the WWE. Then you look at the bullshit that Ed Nordholm, the president and owner of Anthem Entertainment, new head honcho for Impact and everything. You see how he handled the whole Matt Hardy situation. Matt Hardy trying to secure the rights of the Broken Gimmick and all this other shit. And how much great difficulty Ed Nordholm was putting on Matt Hardy. That was just a bunch of unnecessary red tape fucking bullshit. Not even funny. Then you see the shit that went down with Killer Kross. And anybody that does not know the shit that went down with Killer Kross, you owe yourselves a favor and you really need to do your research, because what first starts off and may appear as Killer Kross just not trying to honor his contract and he's trying to, he's just trying to make the best of the situation and put himself in a position where he can get a bigger payday, right? Far from the case whatsoever. We are talking about unpaid royalties. We're talking about unpaid money and a whole bunch of other shit. For starters, the bullshit that Ed Nordholm and his people put Killer Kross through. The bullshit that went down with New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling was supposed to be on Access TV for 1 more year. They were supposed to be on Access TV until 2021. You know why New Japan Pro Wrestling is no longer on Access TV? Because Impact Wrestling, Ed Nordholm and crew, once they bought up Access TV with a little bit of help from freaking Steve Harvey and his production company and all that shit, right? Remember, that was a Mark Cuban thing. So remember how New Japan Pro Wrestling, who had a great relationship with Access TV for about 4, almost 5 years, right? Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay when they start showing the stuff that they're showing on Access TV, but it got to that point where they were doing so well with the North American audience, and the North American audience had a more high demand for, hey, we want to try to see this stuff that goes down with New Japan events as early as possible. If we could maybe see it the following weekend or a day or so later, that'd be really great. So what happened? Mark Cuban and crew over there in Access TV, they started making some deals, and they started a couple of days later, or later that week, they started getting exclusive rights. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a G1 Supercard from LA or something that they that they aired live that was like in real time or whatever, and the Elite? I understand what you're saying, but you also need to look at it from this standpoint. Access TV tried to get New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hey, if you want to continue to stay on Access TV, or actually, I'm not going to put words in their mouth. Hey, we want to form a partnership. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. We want to form a partnership. What do you say? We can do an exchange of talents. New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I talked about this on last week's show, right? And I don't want people that's hearing me right now. What you're hearing is passion. I'm not upset at anybody. Nobody did anything wrong, so don't take it that way. I'm just very passionate about this topic right now, okay? New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I defended them. They had the Bucks. They had Cody. Insert, Omega. Insert. And what happened? All them people, AEW. You don't think? Come on, put yourself in their shoes. Think business. Think from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Man, I got burned by these guys. And look at what happened. Man, this arrangement that I had made with so-and-so. And look at what happened. I work with these people and look at what happened. Yeah, you have to take self-accountability without a shadow of doubt. But come on, people. Open your eyes. Wake up. New Japan Pro Wrestling tells Impact Wrestling, Ed Nordholm and them, no, we're good. We're going to keep doing our thing like we've been doing it. We don't want to do any partnerships and all of that right now. It's tempting, but we're just going to continue to do our thing. And how does Ed Nordholm and crew and Anthem Entertainment, how do they counter? Well, rather than honor the final year of New Japan Pro Wrestling's deal on Access TV, they just pretty much, and now no more New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, you could easily say, man, maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling should have worked out some type of a deal with them, because now you don't have as good of a reach in North America as you did before, right? But home in on something. We all could be in agreement on this. Sure did seem like New Japan Pro Wrestling was doing pretty damn good before Anthem, Ed Nordholm and crew came up in there, right? All of a sudden, Anthem doesn't even have 7 months under the belt. And New Japan Pro Wrestling is already dropped from Access TV. That's more than a mighty fine fucking coincidence, I would have to say. So for me, all of those things, the Tessa Blanchard situation, the fact that Impact Wrestling, Ed Nordholm and people did not get on this and say, hey, we are well aware of the allegations that has come to light about Tessa Blanchard. We cannot confirm, we cannot deny. What we can tell you is that we are doing our own internal investigation. And once our investigation is complete, we will issue a statement all throughout social media to our fans. We appreciate everybody's time and patience. Meantime, we've got a really great pay-per-view that we feel should not be overshadowed. that we would like to encourage people that were thinking about checking it out, check it out. You haven't checked out Impact Wrestling in a while? Come on, check it out. No statement like that issued whatsoever, sadly, right? Now, the finish to that match, you know, I don't exactly agree with it. And I know some of my colleagues in the podcasting world, they would agree as well. They would probably agree as well that as far as how everything had played out, it should not have happened, right? But they still went with the course of making Tessa Blanchard the champion. And it is what it is. You know, we can't change that fact now, right? It is what it is. But for me, that was how they handled that. For me, was just the final nail in the coffin, that as far as my relationship with Impact Wrestling goes, covering them, I mean, I was faithful all throughout the years. Just everything that I mentioned with the whole Tessa Blanchard situation as the icing on the cake was just, I'm done. If that's how you're going to do business. Now, just think about this for a second. And brother, Holiday Christmas Mace, I appreciate your kind words as far as me being a guest on your show. I am pumping out at least 3-4 shows, content for Patreon members, 9-to-5 job, trying to prepare for a wedding, because it's basically me and the missus that's doing everything from the honeymoon to the catering to all of that. My timing is very limited. So, you know, unless it's, you know, for close friends like Mish and other people, like I'm not making the time. I appreciate that, but you know, maybe after the wedding is over and done with, but thank you for that. So that's how I would have done things with Impact Wrestling. And the fact that they went in the direction that they went, I mean, come on, think about this. If you're a longtime listener, you know that we had a show called Impact Showdown that was dedicated to nothing but Impact Wrestling. So it's not like, oh, you know, you're just jumping on the bandwagon, you're just hating. No. When other people threw in the towel long ago, right? I just told you guys, I've been with Impact Wrestling since essentially it just poof. It's just out of thin air, right? Paying for those $10 shows on pay-per-view each week, right? This is just a ugly situation. An ugly situation all the way around. But I also want to look at it from this standpoint too. Just imagine if you're David McClain, the founder and co-owner of WOW Women of Wrestling, a promotion that me and Anthony Missionary Thomas have covered passionately these past 2 seasons. And you're seeing all of this shit go down. And wow. So what does that mean for us? Right? Me and Mish had the opportunity to sit down and interview David McClain. David McClain is all about good, wholesome family entertainment, no controversies, no scandals, none of that type of shit. He doesn't want to be incorporated with any of that, right? Just sit down, enjoy some nice quality wrestling with your kids. That's what it's all about. So, what does this mean for Tessa Blanchard's tenure? And wow, they've already got the second half of the season already in the books. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, because when we interviewed David McClain last year, right before WOW had did season 2 on Access TV, David McClain told us, I believe the number was either 24 or 26 episodes. So you're going, well shit, wait a minute now, right? So how is that going to be tweaked, if it's going to be tweaked at all, with this whole Tessa Blanchard controversy shit? And, you know, we've got people that want to go with the whole, well, people, they mature, you know, people grow up, you know, people change. I believe in that. Trust me, I believe in that. That'd be cool to say if this was something that went down 10 years ago. But people, this went down in 2017, the incident in question. So you know right from wrong and all that other shit. You're very mature enough to know. You're very mature enough to know, right? So I've always been a firm believer, and it was awesome seeing the comments that were coming in from Solo Monsters page on this. You know, I feel, and I've always felt that as far as society goes, society can be very forgiving, very understanding, very compassionate if you take self-accountability, you lay it all out there on the table. And yeah, man, look, did I treat some people coming up? Did I act like my shit fucking didn't smell bad whatsoever? Yeah, you know, did I treat people like shit? Yeah, you know, none of us are perfect. And, you know, yes, definitely on so many levels, you know, yes, I own it. Yes. And the fact that she goes on social media, not true, you know, can't believe I'm making a statement about this, not true. And then does what she does post Hard to Kill, issues that little statement that she puts out there, right? And this whole thing about, oh, but, my God, we need proof. We need proof that this happened. We just gotta. It's hearsay. Otherwise, until okay. So I guess I gotta borrow a page from frickin' Mission Joey. I'm sorry, guys, but it was so good. I gotta use it. Okay, so I guess the Holocaust never happened, right? You know, if we're gonna go there, right? I guess the pictures that we see of Hitler and all that other shit, I guess like that never happened, right? Right? So let's see if we got this straight. So you're chilling in your bedroom right now, listening to this show, and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 and you're like, what the fuck was that? That sounded like gunshots. What the hell? You know, you throw your phone down, or if you're listening through headphones or whatever, you know, you put them down and you go run outside, and, you know, and you're seeing what's going on, and you see that there's 3 guys that's running southbound, and it looks like in the middle of a street, there's a guy laying on his back, groaning and shit, right? And you're like, oh my God, it looks like somebody got hurt. What the hell happened? And, you know, you see the blood that's coming out of this person, and you're putting 2 and 2 together. Wow, it kind of looks like maybe, I don't know, either this guy got shot or he got stabbed. And you're trying to see if the person is coherent and everything. And the person is saying, I need an ambulance bad. I think I've been shot. Okay, so now you're putting together. Okay, so yeah. So what I heard when I was listening to Lee just now, yeah, those apparently were gunshots, right? And then you see a car that just, you know, darts like right by you, right? So you're thinking, man, that was probably the guys that I briefly saw that did this, right? All right, so you call the cops, or somebody calls the cops, ambulance come and all that shit, right? And it comes to the statement. Stay with me now. It comes to the statement. And you say, yeah, I was listening to a podcast, and all of a sudden I heard pop, 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 pop. You know, I wasn't sure what was going on. At first, I thought it was firecrackers, but I kind of know enough to know that those are gunshots. And sure enough, yeah, I go out and, you know, I saw 3 guys. Well, did you get a look at these guys? You know, not really to the point. I can't really tell you what race they were, you know, and it was so dark, but it was definitely 3 guys, you know, but they got in a vehicle. Okay, well, what kind of vehicle did they get in? Well, it was a dark vehicle. So, okay, you say dark, you know, was it navy blue? Was it purple? Was it burgundy? Like, I can't really tell you. Did you get a look at the license plate? No, I can't get a look at the I didn't get a look at the license plate. I'm sorry, officers. All right, no problem. All right, well, you know, just sit down and, you know, we'll come back to you in a hot second if we need your name and some more information, right? How are cases built in neighborhoods when it comes to crimes? It is all about people that come together and they say, hey, this is the information that I have. Hey, you know, I have firsthand accounts that so-and-so or so-and-so people were responsible for the shooting because I was at this bar and I had heard blah, 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 blah. You follow it out, right? This is, I get that whole mentality of, oh, it's, angry mob and to that I say respectfully, these are the people that have held Tessa Blanchard on such a high pedestal that to even say anything negative about their beloved Tessa Blanchard would be admitting that we have a serious problem, that she has a serious problem, that this is a black guy on so many levels, not just for the sport of pro wrestling, that this is a black guy for women's wrestling. When it's all said and done. When it's all said and done. And so that's where we're at right now, right? So I'm supposed to believe, and everybody else is supposed to believe, that all these people that came forth, it's just a conspiracy theory to try to put somebody down, and at the root of it all, it's all about evil, when what this really needs to be about is something that Ron Simmons, something that Kamala Harris, something that Ernie Ladd, insert whatever black wrestler you want to insert. As far as race relations go in the sport of pro wrestling, yeah, it was much worse, but we still have a little bit of a ways to go. And then the bullying. When you listen to what La Rosa Negra had said, I totally get it. I totally get it. And part of what she said was, hey, my whole thing, it had happened to me, and, I just wanted to be about my business. I just wanted to continue to keep doing me. And, and I get that mentality. I really do get that. It's all about, hey, yeah, I might have had some personal bad experiences with this individual, but hey, man, at the end of the day, I got to trust this person in the ring with my body, with my livelihood. This is how I'm making my money. And I don't need no friction. I don't need no problems. I need to be able to go out. I need to be able to do this. And, we're both moving on. It's just all about going in there. It's about the fans. It's just putting on a good show. It's about the entertainment, all that shit. I'm not trying to fuck a person. I'm not trying to fuck with a person's money. I'm just going to keep it moving along, right? I get that. And if that's how honest, and look, not for nothing, but there's a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not, in the world of all shit non-wrestling related, when it comes to the real world, how many of us, be honest with yourselves, how many of us don't have that same mentality? We hear, in some cases, a bunch of stupid shit that's going down at work with some of our coworkers. This money ain't right, or management is doing this to this person. And what's our mentality usually? Well, man, that's pretty fucked up. And that person keeps complaining. It's like, well, look, if you feel that way, won't you do something about it? Won't you go try to find work elsewhere? Or, won't you file a complaint? Or won't you do this? Or won't you do that? And they shut it down. And you're like, okay. Right? And your mentality is, hey, as long as it's not happening to me and it ain't affecting how I make my money, man, I don't really care. I'm going to do what I need to do, do my 9 to 5, escape, right? But then when the shit does happen to you, for some people it varies. Some people, they just internally, they will do what they need to do when they see, okay, you know what? I'm not liking what's going on with this employer. I don't like what's going on with how they treat employees. All right, so you got a decision to make. You're going to go on social media and you're going to vent about those problems, risking that everything could be tied back to, right? Because some employers, they know about your social media accounts. They don't say shit until some shit goes down. And it's like, yeah, you're in trouble, right? Okay, so what do? Do you vent about it on social media, your problems? Or has it gotten to that point where you go, it's time for me to roll out of here. I got to go find something else. I mean, come on, be honest with yourselves. How many of you people over the years that have had various jobs, whatever you needed to say about an employer. You made sure that once you had your other job lined up and you were hired, you got your hiring packet, filled out your W-2s, and you start dating all that. How many of you all made sure that when you went to that new employer and you began working, as far as leaving a negative review for the previous employer, that's when you did it. That's when you did it. I respect this cold mentality big time, because this is something, if you listen to Jim Cornette enough, or maybe even picked up his comic graphic novel, Real Pro Wrestling Stories and everything. Great read, by the way. You know, he passionately talks about the days where, you know, he misses stuff like the code among wrestlers, where anything as far as beef, you know, any problems or whatever, it's all in-house. Shit gets squashed from within. You know, in some cases, social media can be a really great positive tool. It can be a great influencer, especially if you are your own entrepreneur, or you're you own your own business, and it is all about trying to get eyes to your product. I mean, it can be a great marketing tool. It can also be a great tool to connect you to new listeners, new customers, new consumers. But there is that ugly side of social media that I don't like sometimes. And one of the things that I don't like about social media sometimes is, I will say this, to see all of these people that felt the way that they felt. Now, I put what I put out there on Tessa. I'm done with that. My thoughts on the wrestlers that came forward. I'm like this. Okay, so why keep all of this internalized all of these years? When the shit goes down, speak on it. I get that some people, they don't want any type of conflict or whatever, but you got to put your foot down, and you got to let somebody, hey, that's not cool what you're doing. And I'm not going to stand here, and I'm not going to allow you to continue to say those things, to do those things to me, right? This is no different than what we were taught in school. No different than what we were taught in school. If somebody is coming at us and, you know, they're picking on us or whatever, you know, we try to shut that shit down right then and there. Right? So I don't understand. That part I don't understand, for the love of me. I don't understand. I don't know if this was a case where some of these people, they just did not want to rock the boat, or maybe it was what I just said a few minutes ago. Man, fuck all that. I don't want to deal with that controversy. I just want to make this money. I want to do these matches. I want to be in and out. I want to go to my next booking, right? But I've never been that way. I never have. I've always been the type of person, I'm told sometimes by my friends, I'm too outspoken. Sometimes me being too outspoken, it's gotten me in some hot water, but I would rather be known as somebody that is outspoken, that will tell it how it is, that will tell it to your face. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. It's not my intent to hurt your feelings, but I would rather be outspoken and blunt and let you know I got a problem with you up front than to tiptoe around it. And you know, my message to a lot of these wrestlers, you know, going forward, you know, use what went down over the weekend with Tessa Blanchard as a prime example of, if somebody is saying or doing some stuff that you don't agree with, if you are made to feel insignificant, if you are made to feel belittled, if you are made to feel devalued in any type of way, if you are not made to feel as though you are an equal to your coworker, pull them to the side and fucking go there. Do not internalize that shit, because the longer you internalize that shit, it manifests into this manifestation of dark harboring, of hatred, and a whole bunch of other shit, and your mind's going in all of these other directions that it really shouldn't be going. I'll give you a perfect example. Real life talk. All right, a couple of weeks ago, I helped my girl put the Christmas tree down. And, usually with the Christmas tree, I help her with the ornaments here and there. But for the most part, the Christmas tree, setting up the ornaments and all that, decorating it, it is all on her. All right. So this past year, it only took her about, I would say, 4 days max to get the decorations up all together on the tree. Then it becomes, okay, so, the tree's going to stay right there this year? Yeah, I like it right here. Okay, cool. Then her mom goes, that tree needs to move over there. And my girl goes, I like the tree more so right here. I think it's really good right here. We really don't have the space over there. We really don't. And her mom goes, yeah, but I think it would look better over here. And my girl's coming right back. But yeah, I hear you, but it's better right here. That should have been the end of it. So her man comes up. And she says to my mother-in-law, says to her man, hey, can we move that tree over there? I can't tell you how pissed off my girl was, Tammy. I can't tell you how pissed off Tammy was. I was like, well, why are you feeling so pissed off? It's just a Christmas tree. I feel so pissed off because, this is my house as well. I'm the co-owner of this house, and it felt like I wasn't being heard. I felt totally disrespected. I felt like my words were falling on deaf ears. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, you're not the only person that lives here. I told you why you should stay right here, and you don't listen to me, and you go, hey, you know what I told her? I said, why didn't you nip that in the bud as soon as that shit went down? I don't know. Okay, yeah, and now look at you. You're red in the face. That's how pissed off she was. She was red in the face. It was like, you're pissed off. You let this manifest for days, and now look where you are right now. As soon as the shit goes down, you got to know how to pull them to the side, be respectful, right? That's your mom after all, and tell her how it is. And I told her, I said, look, once you've cooled off, whether it's tomorrow, day after, pull her to the side, have a nice conversation with her, let her know how you feel. I'm sure if she understood where you were coming from, one of the first things she'll say to you is, that wasn't my intent. I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. Sure enough, she had that conversation and shit got squashed. And her whole thing was, well, I just felt that, the tree would have looked better over here and we would have had even more space. And in retrospect, once she calmed down everything, yeah, you're right, but I didn't like how you made me feel. Right? So that's my whole thing. We as a society, we got to do a better job in not internalizing shit for the betterment of, I don't want any conflict, right? As long as you're being respectful and you're going in with the facts, right? But most importantly, you're going in with how it makes you feel. And that way that person can really understand more where you're coming from. There's no excuse for why something needs to manifest the way that it eventually does. Right now, I don't want people to take what I'm saying, and I'm looking at it from all angles. I'm still on the whole Tessa Blanchard, no mas, Impact Wrestling. I'm done with you guys, but for all of these people that. It's weird. It's very, very weird. The era of the boys and the code of conduct and keeping the shit in-house and all that. You can really see with your own eyes if you've been paying attention to wrestling, been a fan of wrestling for the past 30, 40 years. It's really changed drastically. Social media has really woven its way into our livelihood. It's gotten to that point where we essentially can't do without it. And I find that to be disturbing in some cases. I really, 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 really do. See, Austin, what's up with you, man? And hey, can I give a special shout out to listener of the show? He's been a long time listener of the show for a couple of years now. I want to give a shout out to Joe Raymond Jr. I had heard from Joe Raymond Jr. And if you noticed, he was a Patreon member for the longest time, but he's been a longtime listener, loyal listener of the RCWR show for some years now. He's come down on some hard times, and particularly medical wise, medical bills is just really kicking his ass left and right. Now, I'm not saying this to promote some type of a Kickstarter for him or anything like that, but he is going through some hard times right now. So, Joe, if you're listening to this, and I know you will be, speedy recovery, my friend. I really hope that it sucks to hear that your 2020 is going off on such a bad note. I hope that financially you're not only able to rebound, but I hope that just your life in general, but most importantly, your health. I hope everything just goes on the up and up in the coming weeks, going into the coming months. So, just continue to stay positive. And if you ever need an outlet, you know how to contact me privately. You're more than welcome to. All right. But speedy recovery to you, my friend. Austin, what's going on with your brother? Noe, Laura, what's going on with you as well? All right, let's keep it rocking. Let's keep it rolling. I guess at this point, unless there's something else you want me to add to that whole Tessa Blanchard thing, you can let me know. But I don't really think there's any other angles I really need to dive into, honestly. What more do I say about that whole Tessa Blanchard situation, right? Actions speak louder than words. And look, she's 24 years of age? She still has a long wrestling career ahead of her. I can remember being that age. We all, because I know a majority of our listeners are basically like 28 and up, or like 35 and up. We've all made mistakes when we were that age. Some boneheaded mistakes. What the fuck were you thinking? You weren't thinking at all. It's the actions that you do going forward that most people are really going to be paying attention to. It's that next step that you're going to be doing. And as I always like to try to say, always forward. Always try to be about that positivity. Always try to be about helping others when you can. If you see somebody that needs help, don't give them a handout. Give them a help up. Help them reach your level and better, is my whole mentality. So, this went down in 2017, and there's no telling what else has gone down since then. I know supposedly we've got this audio tape of her defecating. Supposedly somebody paid her to do this. And, whether or not that's her or not, it sounds a lot like her. And for me, my reference point is the Impact Wrestling press conference call that she did last year that I had took part in. And I actually had asked her a couple of questions. One of these days I'll upload it, but I think at this point it's going to get a lot of thumbs down just because it went down over the weekend. But one of these days I'll upload the audio, and just kind of using that as a reference point, thinking about all the other times I've heard her cut promos and everything. That audio sounds a lot like her, and I'm not even going to touch that. I've said enough about that whole defecating thing, but just, sequel to Two Girls and One Cup? Possibly. Possibly. Look, Raw tonight, like I said, it was a so-so episode. Hey, I did ask you guys, what did you make about Raw? I got the poll that's up on Twitter and on YouTube right now, asking you all, what did you think of it? And so far, looking at Twitter, I'll put the Facebook poll up tomorrow. We got 30. Wow, that is a weird fucking percentage. Check this out. Twitter. 39.1% of you are giving Raw a thumbs down. 60.9% of you are giving Raw a thumbs up. What a weird percentage total there. That is very weird there. Meanwhile, on YouTube, over on the communities tab, We got that loading up right now here because I like refreshing, try to get the best real-time numbers as possible. It's still early, so if you didn't know about the YouTube community poll, now you know, head on over there. But right now, we've got 100% of the votes coming in, giving it a thumbs down. You know, there was some bright spots for Raw tonight, like I had said earlier there. So Blake Murphy joining the Monday Night Messiah and Seth Rollins, I said it right. I was getting ready to say Kevin Owens, but I caught myself in time actually. And Seth Rollins and AOP, this was basically the end result of Buddy Murphy losing his match against Aleister Black. That was another fucking classic match that those two guys had. And Buddy Murphy made his presence felt in the main event match. We had the main event match that consisted of it consisted of, hang on here guys, Kevin Owens, hang on here, I'm trying to see the main event match here, and what the fuck was the main event? I thought the main event was Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and Big Show taking on Seth Rollins and AOP. I thought that was the main event match. I could have sworn it was, but we saw AOP, they had double teamed on Joe there. Big Show was doing his part to help. Kind of seemed as though Big Show was going to be the equalizer once again until Buddy Murphy came in there essentially from out of fucking nowhere. Buddy Murphy had came in with a low blow right when Big Show was calling for the WMD. I think it was on Seth Rollins, but don't quote me on that. And from there, it was pretty much a numbers game. They piled on Big Show and pretty much owned him and everything. That is a very interesting dynamic that we got going on there with Buddy Murphy, now part of that whole equation. Now see, just through process of elimination, now that the Monday Night Messiah has a fourth man that's part of his stable, and you know what? I'm down with that association. I'm down with that on so many levels because, one, I'm a big Buddy Murphy fan. Big fan. I love his look, everything about the guy. I think he can be a bona fide breakout star. And as far as my predictions go for 2020, as far as who I'm looking at for breakout star of the year from the main roster, I would like to see Buddy Murphy. My prediction is Buddy Murphy. He is, I'm that high on him. I like him a lot, tremendously. Appreciate that guy's work. So now that he's part of this whole thing, okay, so what does that mean over on the Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens side? Does this mean that these guys are now in a position where maybe Aleister Black? I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you're following the storyline and everything. It makes a lot of sense for Aleister Black to be incorporated in there as well. And thus, now that you have these great supporting cast members once again intertwining with each other, right? Everything continues. The whole saga and all that continues. So I'm liking all of those elements that's going on. I can't help but wonder, as far as the Royal Rumble goes, what direction are we going in here, right? Are we going in a direction where, because when you look at Seth Rollins and you look at the other people, we have not heard any of them make a declaration that they are going to be involved in the Royal Rumble. So are they going to be in the Royal Rumble or are they not? You're kind of led to the impression that maybe they are not going to be part of the Royal Rumble, right? And if they're not part of it, I'm actually okay with that, because that's a pretty damn good match that you're going to be able to see at the Royal Rumble, assuming it's going to be an 8-man tag match. If it's going to be Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, AOP taking on Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Big Show, and Aleister Black, yeah, fucking sign me up. I'm down with that. I don't really feel at this point you should have an 8-man tag team match like that just essentially blow off on Monday Night Raw. I really think you should do as much as you can to sell the Royal Rumble. So, hopefully they are going in that direction. We'll have to wait and see how they're going to play about that one. But also, just looking at some other key stuff there. I did not particularly care for the Rusev versus Bobby Lashley. I've tapped out. I've really tapped out. I'm now just doing any and everything else whenever these guys come on. I saw the 33-second spot there with Liv Morgan and Lana. Really couldn't sink my teeth into that one. Now, what was really interesting about this one was post-match. Post-match, Lana and Rusev issued a challenge to Rusev and, God, what is that girl's name? I just remembered her name and now I'm drawing a blank on her ass. Liv Morgan. Yeah, so forgive me there, guys. Long night, Liv Morgan. So there's a challenge that was issued there. I believe that is going to be a tag match, if I remember that right. So I'll let you guys correct me if I'm wrong on that one. That was just a case for me where, and I do a really good job to my credit of taking notes, but you guys got to forgive me. Just seeing the stuff with the Lana and the Rusev and the Lashley, I get to a point where if I've had enough of something, oh, that's on, I go do something else, and I usually just catch little spots here and there. But I do know that as far as next week goes, those four people, they're intertwining once again with each other. So yay, right? Yay, whatever. Now, there is one match I do want to give a lot of love to. It was a triple threat match that had involved AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton. I enjoyed that one. For me, that was the match of the night. I enjoyed that one tremendously. Seeing Randy Orton do successfully the Styles Clash, I almost marked out, but I definitely had a big ass smile on my face because I'm going, go ahead, Randy. You're doing something new I've never seen you do before, brother. All right, go ahead, man. I like that. Drew McIntyre taking advantage in the closing moments of Randy Orton doing the RKO to AJ Styles, coming in with the Claymore kick on Orton, picking up the scraps that way. This was all about essentially picking up that Royal Rumble momentum and everything. Really makes you wonder. I know I touched upon it last week as far as who's going to possibly pull an upset and maybe eliminate Brock Lesnar, right? And I gave some nice ideas as far as, well, what happens if Brock Lesnar wins the Rumble? Go back and check out last week's episode, right? But, man, you can't help but throw Drew McIntyre's name into the mix as well. As far as, because who did we go with? I think I had said something along the lines of who would confront Brock Lesnar and everything, and shockingly maybe would eliminate him from the Rumble. You could go with a Dio Madden is one of the things that I had said, and I'm not going to lay it all out. Again, go back to last week's show, but I did highlight Dio Madden. You could also, I don't know about the Edge thing. My guess is as good as yours as far as the Edge thing happens. I'm not really sure about that one. I'm really not sure about that one. But you got Dio Madden. What's going on with Cain Velasquez? You know, is he maybe somebody that is going to make a surprise appearance in the Rumble, right? Can't help but think about him. What about Drew McIntyre? You know, could you tease a Drew McIntyre, Lesnar? That would be something refreshing. I would have to say that is something that most people would not see coming. The fans are really starting to get behind Drew McIntyre. You've been seeing it with your own two eyes the past couple of weeks. You don't need me to tell you that. You guys have been able to see it yourselves. So it's interesting. A lot of interesting dynamics that's going on there as far as what could possibly happen going into the Rumble and everything. But yeah, the opener, I won't say it was an opener match. You know, it was an opener match. It was an opener match that happened between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and AJ Styles. I didn't think it was an opener for the simple fact I actually had took a cat nap after watching the news. So by the time I woke up, I'm seeing this match and I'm going, oh shit, I missed the first part of Raw. And I tried to rewind and it was, oh no, this is essentially all I really missed was this was your opening match. So yeah, that was actually pretty damn good. I'm looking at the rest of the card here for tonight. There's really nothing else I really want to talk about. I'm still doubling down on Sarah Logan, following up on what I've been saying off and on the past couple of weeks. The experiment is over already. Just cut bait. Come on, cut bait already. There's just no help. I think as a last-ditch effort, pair her up with the Viking Raiders. See if maybe that might do a little something. I mean, look, man. Carmella with Enzo Amore and Big Cass, that was pretty cool for what it was worth. They all gelled pretty well together. They radiated off of each other. They all just clicked chemistry big time with one another. Maybe that can kind of do a little something for them, right? Because Viking Raiders tonight, man, all you heard was fucking crickets when they was talking. Fucking crickets. Come on out there looking all big and tough. The reign will continue. And you're like, okay, yeah, great. And then you have the fucking Singh brothers come out. Now, there was one other spot I did like about Raw tonight. I did love the segment involving Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, R-Truth. Laughed my ass off at that. Kudos to R-Truth. Just when I think I've seen it all with this man, especially from a comedic standpoint, he jumps out there again and he does something totally fucking cool, totally fucking refreshing, and you could legitimately see that Brock Lesnar was having a good time and he was laughing at the jokes R-Truth was putting out there. But when it was time to be about the business, you saw how the end result was with that, right? But I love that whole moment right there. It was refreshing to see. And I love that. R-Truth, man, he is something else. He is golden, and he's got that whole fucking fountain of youth to him as well. I mean, between him and Terry Crews, I don't know how many of you guys are big fans of Terry Crews, but Terry Crews had shared a couple of pictures of himself tonight on social media. 51 years of age, and the dude is fucking ripped as I don't know what. I mean, he is shredded. Go look at the pictures of that guy. That dude is fucking shredded. Man, I used to have friends and know a couple of people who, you know, as far as I know, not abusing illegal substances whatsoever, you know, follow a very tight diet, especially as far as the carb intake and all that. And, you know, everything looks natural. I'm not saying they're as shredded as one of my friends is, but, you know, when you look at somebody like that, that's 51 years of age and they are that, wow, it's one of those deals where you go, yeah, get to your age, brother. That's exactly where I'm trying to be, or at least half of that. And speaking of which, I cannot wait. Me and the missus were already talking about it. And I think before the month is out, yes, I'm pretty sure it's either going to go down before the month is out or the first week in February. We're going to be tag teaming and we're going to be hitting the gym together, because at first I thought she had her wedding dress. You know, she wanted to lose a little bit of weight to get into the wedding dress, but now she's saying there's another wedding dress that she's looking at. I'm going, whatever makes you happy, honey. You know how that is, fellas. But I told her, I said, you know, so when are we hitting the gym? And she's like, yeah, either before the end of January or February. So I'll probably start posting some workout videos too in the coming weeks. You know, nothing spamming out too much. Just, you know, kind of let you guys see what's going down and everything. But yeah, Raw tonight, you know, just kind of going through the motions of this episode. My mind was really more so on just everything that went down with the Tessa Blanchard situation. You know, I don't like doing full-blown raw recaps. There's a lot of people that already do that as it is. And, you know, we try to give you guys nice variety and all that other shit. Now, I do want to tell you guys that if you had the opportunity and you checked out Broken Skull Sessions over the weekend, I got to tell you, I was looking forward to this, but silly me, it never dawned on me that the Broken Skull Sessions with Kane was basically going to be about his book. Because, now look, if you did not pick up Kane's book, Mayor Kane, it's a great fucking read. I've promoted it off and on the past couple of weeks. If you go on Amazon or iTunes, you can actually see my review for it. I will be doing a bit of a revision review of it now that I've dived more into the book and everything. But because at the time when I initially put out the reviews for it in iTunes and Amazon, I had probably read about the first 75 pages of the book, and now I'm at about 175 to 200 pages into the book. So I'm essentially almost done with the book. And so I definitely want to go back and follow up with some new thoughts to it and everything. But if you did not pick up Kane's book, then what you watched of the Broken Skull sessions is essentially that, right? It's funny because, like, for example, you have the one story where Kane shares how he almost did not make it to Bad Blood for his debut and everything. And he covers that in the book. And so Stone Cold Steve Austin is essentially just there. Hey, man, tell me about that time where you and Paul Bearer, you almost didn't make it for your debut there at Bad Blood. Tell folks about that. And he's taking a good swig of his beer and everything. And, you know, so he's almost kind of there just to stir it up a little bit, just to, hey, that story from the book, talk about that. You know, it's almost kind of like that without Steve Austin literally saying, that one chapter there he shared there, you remember that story about the alligators? You know, but I tuned out. I watched probably the first, I'd say I probably watched about the first 40 minutes of the Broken Skull sessions, and I said, okay, I've seen what I needed to see. I don't need to see any more. There is nothing new. There is nothing right. Now, I think the way that things should have played out, because Kane, to his credit, he's done so many interviews for this book. I really wish that one of the first interviews that would have went down was with Steve Austin, and they would have put this Broken Skull Sessions episode, just put it out as a bonus episode. If you want to essentially have 2 Broken Skull Sessions in 1 month, so be it. But I really felt, because correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Kane's book had came out the week of Thanksgiving, if I recall correctly. So having that in mind, all the interviews that he's done since then, essentially saying the same thing over and over and over. And now you have him on the Steve Austin podcast for, well, not the Steve Austin podcast, but you guys know what I mean. But you have him on the Steve Austin show there, and he's going for an hour, almost an hour 30. And basically, it's a recap of certain things that he's already covered in his book, right? Now, if you enjoyed the Broken Skull sessions and you feel a bit enticed to want to pick up the book, you definitely won't be disappointed. You won't be, but I'm telling you, it's a situation where if you check out the Broken Skull sessions with Kane, you just go, okay, so that was pretty good. All right. Do I need to get the book? No, because everything's pretty much covered in that Broken Skulls joint. But if you want to get the book just so you can know every single little nook and cranny, then go ahead, because there is just a tiny bit of stuff that wasn't covered on Broken Skull Session, so go ahead, right? But Kane himself, Glenn Jacobs, I gotta tell you, as far as having a lot of respect for somebody through the roof for Glenn Jacobs, that is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. I respect him so much from the standpoint of him growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the constant connection he's been able to maintain out there among his people, his friends, his family, how this incredible journey that he has been on really did a 360. 180, you're going in a different, but no, for him, it's 360. It's really gone full circle for him. And just this incredible journey. The story in itself is really incredible. And and how he was able to go into politics successfully and become a mayor. And, you just can't help but be astonished by that and really marvel in the idea more. And anything is possible as far as the American dream goes if you put your mind, your heart, and soul into it. Anything is achievable. It really, really is. You just got to stay dedicated, stay the course, be humble, right? And all good things will follow. All good things will follow from there. So, and also his mind, as far as politics go, I really like the fact that Glenn Jacobs is not somebody that does like some politicians or whatever and tries to beat you down, right? Like, when I first heard about Glenn Jacobs running, I couldn't help but kind of think of think of one of my all-time favorite movies, All the King's Men. I'm not talking about the one with Sean Penn. I'm talking about the original one with Roderick Crawford. Underrated fucking actor as far as I'm concerned. Love that dude tremendously. But I was kind of thinking, okay, so that's essentially Glenn Jacobs, right? But I will say this, when you read his book, I mean, he comes off very charismatic and all that during the Broken Skull Sessions joint as well. But the book really, I feel, connects you more with the man behind the character and everything. You just can't help but really come away going, wow, this guy is really down to earth. This guy is really your everyday Joe. He's really like you and I, but he has really stayed the course, tried to do his best to accomplish his dreams. Everything that he set forth to do, he's been able to do it. But this is somebody that is not the politician from the standpoint of, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear just to fucking get your vote and then turn on your ass. That's why I reference All the King's Men. Now, this is really somebody, his heart that he wears on his sleeve, it's the same guy. It is very fucking consistent. I even like the one chapter in this book where he talked about how he got to a point where he did not like constantly being approached for autographs and photo ops and all that. And his wife, Crystal, humbled him real quick. She didn't scorn him in any type of way. She just reminded him that, hey, the livelihood that you have, everything that's come to you and everything, these fans, these people, they are responsible for that. And for them, this is their once in a lifetime opportunity. They may not get another opportunity in their entire lives in meeting one of their favorites, right? So the way that Crystal broke it down to him, it made him respect and appreciate the fans more, to the point where he doesn't mind talking to people, whether he's at an airport or he's at a hotel or he's out in public. He is very approachable and everything, very humbled, right? It's just all around. It's a good feel. It's a good feel when it's all said and done. I didn't mean to get long-winded with Kane there, but yeah, you really do respect the hell out of Glenn Jacobs. You really, really do. But yeah, if you guys didn't get a chance to pick up the book and you haven't checked out the Broken Skull Sessions yet, go ahead, check it out. And hopefully watching it will entice you to want to pick up the book, because the book is a really good read. I will definitely say that. It is a really good read. Hey, I want to get into some shout outs. I also want to get into some sponsors here. So first off, let's get into some Patreon shout outs. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. You guys can check out bonus audio, video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. Patreon members, I got your hookup for this week. Hey, why didn't you guys tell me I got hair on my hat here? I've had a irritating big old piece of hair on front of my hat here the whole time for the webcast here. I know you guys checking out the audio can't see, but I had a big ass piece of hair on my hat right in the front there the whole fucking time. But yeah, check out patreon.com/RCWR Show. You guys can check out bonus audio, and video content, a great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Patreon members Justin Ripstock. Shout out to Freddie R. Freddie. Shout out to John Krauser, Sean Kenter, Tony Bing Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel Super War. Tony Bing Gaming, he's got your hookup with tips, tricks, news, reviews, whole 9 yards. Check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel and a Patreon wall as well. Shout out to Michael Wolf, John Davis, and my amigo Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. Safe travels, my friend. Missionary is in the process of traveling. I can now speak upon this because he had revealed it earlier today on a show he had recorded. He's going to be moving, so I'm definitely wishing him a safe travel. And I know he's going to have a lot of fun. I know he's going to have a lot of fun where he's going. A lot of fun. And should be interesting what's going to be happening this week, because I am going to be helping out Wrestling Soup from a live production standpoint this week. And I have a feeling I'll probably be editing that episode as well. So what review? What review? What are we reviewing? I don't understand. I see WrestleFlow had said loving the review. We didn't really review anything. We kind of just, like we always do, we just talk. Nah, I mean, I appreciate the kind words. I'm not being a dick in any way, but we really didn't review anything. I don't think. Maybe you guys could shed a little bit of light on that, but we really didn't review anything. Also, yeah, so from a production standpoint, I got a feeling that things are going to be kind of interesting this week for me. So I'm up for the challenge, though, as always. So good shit. That's all of our Patreon shout outs. There's a couple other people I want to give a shout out to. I definitely want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors for this week's episode. We do greatly appreciate our sponsors that we get to work with every single week, as the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by Leafy Legal Services. If you are an entrepreneur or a real estate investor, Leafy Legal Services can help you out tremendously. They can help your business grow successfully in wealth and more. Make sure you do yourself a solid and you check them out. Visit their website, leafyassets.com. Once again, that's leafyassets.com. We're also brought to you in part by watchshopus.com. That's watchshopus.com. Valentine's Day, it's never too early. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and you need some banging ass gifts. I know some of you guys are like, but I just did Christmas. Hey man, significant other is expecting something for Valentine's Day. And if you're kind of like me, you care about quality, you care about the brand name, but most importantly, you want to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar. WatchShopUs.com. They've got your hookup. And for a limited time, you get a certain % discount off of what you buy from their site. Check them out. WatchShopUs.com. We're also brought to you in part by the good kind folks behind the comedy movie President Evil. 3 young girls are stalked by a deranged killer dressed as the President of the United States. What the hell is going on there? Check that out. You can find it on Amazon. Check out the trailer and the movie on Amazon.com. And we got a couple of new sponsors I want to tell you guys about tonight. We got 2 new sponsors that's on board with us. First one, nettybird.com. Nettybird.com. Listen up. They are a Christian beauty, cosmetics, and personal care company. So you fellas, you know how your ladies can be. Let's all be in agreement. We know how our ladies are with the makeups and the jewelry. Like, damn, woman, didn't I just see you with that piece of jewelry already? Like, why are you buying that? You got that already. No, it's not. This is different. What do you mean it's different? The one I just saw has No, this one has. Okay, so it's the same piece of jewelry. You know how our ladies can be, fellas. You know how they can be. But you know our ladies, they got to do what they got to do as far as the health and beauty goes, cosmetics and all that. They doing what they doing to look nice for us and representing when they out there in the public and everything. And nettybird.com, man, they got the hookups there when it comes to cosmetics and personal care products. They got great stuff for eyeshadows, lip gloss, and pretty soon they're going to be offering skincare products and workout outfits. And their mission, check this out, it is all about empowering women, build their faith and their loyalty. So check them out. Have your girls check them out. nettybird.com. Again, nettybird.com. Happy to have them on board as a sponsor for the RCWR show this week. And also nanakitty.com. nanakitty.com. Now look, if you are 18 years of age and older, listen up, right? So if you're looking for a little bit of spice in your life, in the bedroom especially, nanakitty.com has some very, very good products that you need to be checking out, right? So Nana Kitty Novelties, they strive to handpick, test, and purchase some of the best products on the market, all from the Las Vegas area. They never buy products from overseas. So take that with confidence when you do business with them. They do not sell the typical adult store products. Their store's goal is to strictly sell medical grade silicone, glass, metal, as plastic, and wood. They've got oils, lubes, cleaners available in organic, vegan, or water-based. Their number one goal is to sell beautiful, safe, non-toxic items at a reasonable cost. And they want you guys to feel safe and happy when you make your purchases from them. Learn a lot more. Check them out. I'm telling you, you're going to like some of the products that you see on their site, right? But there's nothing wrong with spicing up the love life a little bit, man. We all need that. We all need that, right? You know, so much more than just, oh, baby, flip me over. Oh, baby, give it to me doggy style. It's a lot more than just that. Sometimes you got to really jazz it up in there. So check them out, nanakitty.com. You can also find them all throughout social media as well. That's all of our sponsors for this week. Shout out to our sponsors and shout out to our Patreon members. All right, so where do we go from here? I'm not going to get into NXT UK Blackpool Takeover 2. That is actually going to be a Patreon exclusive. Also, there is a rumor going around that as far as the next episode of the Broken Skull Sessions, check this out, take it with a grain of salt. PW Insider is reporting that Bret Hart was in the Los Angeles area over the weekend to film an episode of Broken Skull Sessions. So I'm not really sure how much of that is truth, but I would say check it out. I would say check that out. I would not be surprised if Bret Hart is going to be a future guest on that show. So check it out. And look, on a side note, some of you guys, when you hear the names of the sponsors and our Patreon members being mentioned, that might be a little bit tedious for you. You may not really care about that. And that's probably a deal where you're like, oh man, get on with the show already. Let me tell you something. Because of those sponsors, because of those Patreon members from over the years that's put a lot of money into our show, they make this show, what you're checking out right now, free. They make it free. Otherwise, we would just be totally subscription based, especially for our Patreon members. Our Patreon members have a lot of say in some of the topics that get brought up and all that other shit. So it may sound a little bit redundant to some of you guys, But that's us paying it forward and showing our respect, because anybody that takes the time out to do business with the show, whether from a sponsorship standpoint or they want to be a Patreon member and support the content that I put out, they forever have my friendship. They forever have my loyalty. And I will continue to fucking praise them. And if there's something bad going on in their lives or whatever, I will constantly fucking give them the time any day of the week. And usually, not for nothing, but by the time I do get into the Patreon shout outs and the sponsors, it's almost the end of the show. So when you hear that, kind of have that in the back of your head that we're essentially almost done with the show. I got a lot of respect for Melissa Santos because it's funny too. And this is what I mean by, I'm just going to post this and I think this is fact, but I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm going to look cool doing it because I'm going to look like I'm an expert, like I'm an insider. So Brian Cage, and you would notice if you saw the dirt sheets over the weekend, the dirt sheets put a story out there that Brian Cage got signed to AEW. You get Melissa Santos, she goes on social media and she goes, so my husband got signed to AEW? That's news to me. I can tell you, as I have firsthand knowledge of everything that's going on, Brian hasn't signed with anybody yet. So what are you guys talking about? What do I not know that you guys apparently know, even though I'm sleeping with him, I'm married to him? And it was funny watching some of these same dirt sheets go back afterwards, after they said Brian Cage is AEW bound. Some of them went back and they were like, Brian Cage is considering several offers from many wrestling promotions. No shit. You know, it's like that's as bad. That's as bad as fucking saying something along the lines of Lee is going to have a hot dog with tomatoes, relish, mustard, onions, and cucumbers. And I say to you, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm hungry, but I haven't even thought about what I'm gonna have for lunch yet. I'm hungry, but I don't know what I'm gonna have just yet. And then the next report that comes out there is Lee is considering many different foods he will eat for lunch today. It's like, go ahead, man. What the fuck is going on? Hey, I'm seeing a little bit of buffering that's going on with the stream. Are you guys good? You guys good? Is it still playing or is it freezing up a little bit? Let me close a couple of windows here and let me see if maybe that might do the trick. Bear with me a second here. I'm seeing some skip frames had kicked in. Looks like within the past 5 minutes, there's been a couple of skip frames there. Let me see. Can I do anything else at my end? Let me see here. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can close some stuff out here to help you all out. Give me a quick second. Because it looks like it just went down within the past 5 minutes. We're almost done, by the way. I don't really have too many other topics I want to get into. Just hang on real quick. Let me see if I can help you guys out here. Because it seemed like we were good right until I had generated some of those thumbnails. Okay. And that's about the best I can do. I closed a couple of windows I had open. Let me look here. Let me see if there's anything else I can close real quick. Hang on, guys. And let's close this as well. And that actually should help you guys out. Let's see. Close that. Now just edit all that out later when it's all said and done. Okay, that's the best I can do. I've practically closed every single thing that I could close, but it looks like it's still skipping. I'm seeing, so you guys are probably seeing audio, but it's buffering. right? So you're getting the lag there. So, okay. So we're going to go into just one or two more topics, and then I'm just going to pretty much call it, well, maybe we should call it a night now since it's buffering as it is, right? I mean, you know, that kind of sucks that it's now buffering. Let me see real quick here. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's wrap it up for tonight because it's buffering really bad, I'm seeing. All right, so at this point, your next edition of the RCWR show, and that's weird, by the way, too, that it's buffering because last week we had no issues whatsoever with the buffering. No issues whatsoever. And it was a very smooth stream, but for whatever reason, this one is streaming. You guys, you got me. You got me as far as why it's fucking going down, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so your next edition, we're going to be coming at you live on Wednesday, January the 15th, 2020. We'll be coming on live as soon as WWE NXT and AEW goes off the air. We're going to be going a little bit more all over the place on that episode, so that should be a really fun episode. And also in the meantime, while all that is going on, I'm definitely going to do a little bit of some troubleshooting to see what some of my streaming issues may be, to see if I can get them resolved by the next episode. I promise you guys. So please, patience is virtue. We'll also talk more about the fallout from Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view event. We will cover some ROH news. You know how we do it on the Wednesday shows. We go a little bit more all over the place with all of the wrestling promotions. So that's going to be a good show. Make sure you check that out. Check out our sponsors once again. And if you want to get at me on social media, you can. I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Everybody that checked out the show live, much love. For those of you that's going to be wanting this on demand and on the downloads, I will have this available for you guys to check out. Yeah, and Brian, I know the audio is fine, but the web stream, I'm seeing a lot of lag. And it's actually good that we're wrapping up now, because I don't think that's fair to you guys that I'm like not synced up with the visual. It's just buffering. That's not cool. I don't like that. That's not cool. But don't worry, we'll have it squashed on Wednesday because it's kind of rare we have this issue. I wouldn't be surprised if it would have helped if I would have restarted the computer, and that probably would have knocked it out or whatever. I can tell you this much. There was a weird new update that Windows kept pestering me to do, and it sounded like a tax file number, like a 1099 or some stupid shit like that. And I find it kind of weird that after I finally reluctantly accepted that Windows update, I'm having this issue because we have not had any type of web streaming buffering issues for a good minute now. So I need to check to see if it's something that got reset in OBS, because I did have to recently restart everything as far as the applications that I use. I had to reapply my Mixer stats, even though I had did it before initially. I had to reconnect a whole bunch of shit. So very curious. I think it's weird that all that shit went down once I had fucking downloaded that Windows update. So very fucking weird. But no, any other stuff we got to get into, we got the Wednesday show. Don't worry, guys. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. And like I said before, those of you that's going to be waiting for the audio version of this, honestly, give me about